I adjusted the cracked rearview mirror of my 2007 Toyota Corolla as I pulled through the gates of the mansion, the crown jewel of my family's Denver real estate empire. The security guard blinked twice at my ID. Lily Prescott, granddaughter of the late Charles Prescott Sr. You'd never guess it by looking at me. My breezy linen dress from Kohl's and scuffed flats were worlds away from the designer outfits my relatives flaunted. But then again, my $2,000 0-cents mobile home in Silver Pines Park was just as distant from their sprawling million-dollar estates. It had been 2 months since Grandpa's death, and today was the official reading of his will. The family had already picked through most of his assets during earlier meetings: the houses, the luxury cars, the priceless art. All that remained was Prescott Properties, the $190 million 0-cents business he'd built from scratch. Everyone believed Uncle Stephen would inherit it all. He'd run the company since my father, Charles Jr., the eldest Prescott son, died in a skiing accident 13 years ago. I was 17 then, and Grandpa had quietly taken me under his wing in ways no one else saw. Mr. Howard, our elderly butler who'd known me since I was a child, greeted me at the mansion's entrance. "It's good to see you, Miss Lily." "You too, Howard." I smiled, noticing how he still treated me with the same warmth as when I'd lived there, before choosing my own path. The grand foyer buzzed with familiar faces and wary glances. My sister Miranda, draped in Dior, lifted an eyebrow as I passed. Aunt Valerie sighed dramatically, clutching her pearl necklace. Uncle Stephen barely looked up from his phone. "Well, look who crawled out of her trailer park," Miranda called out. "Mobile home community," I corrected calmly, "and I'm proud to live there." "Proud?" she scoffed. "Of a tin box that costs less than my shoes?" "At least I have a roof over my head," Aunt Valerie chimed in, though her voice held more pity than venom. I swallowed my reply. They'd never understand why I chose Silver Pines Park or why I passed up their cushy corporate offers. They'd never seen the families I'd helped find affordable housing or the kids who now had safe places to play. "Everyone, please take your seats," Mr. Goldman, Grandpa's lawyer, announced from the doorway. "We're ready to begin." I found a seat in the back, away from the perfume and tailored suits. Uncle Stephen sat up front, pen already poised above the transfer papers. "Before we proceed," Mr. Goldman said, adjusting his glasses, "I have something to share." Uncle Stephen waved his hand. "Yes, yes. My father's final words of wisdom. Let's get to the paperwork." Goldman held up an envelope, his face unreadable. "This letter was written 6 months ago. Its contents impact the future of Prescott Properties." Silence settled over the room. I felt the air shift. "My dear family," Goldman began reading. "If you're hearing this, I'm gone. You're gathered in my study, expecting the formal transfer of my life's work to Stephen." He paused as eyes darted around the room. "But I've watched our family lose its way. Prescott Properties wasn't built on wealth alone. It was built on community. Not just profit, but purpose." Uncle Stephen's jaw tightened. "What is this nonsense?" "Over the past 5 years, I've quietly observed you all, while Stephen converted affordable housing into luxury condos, while Miranda mocked those unable to buy our properties, while Valerie treated loyal employees like strangers. Only one person stayed true to our legacy." My chest tightened as Goldman looked straight at me. "Lily, my precious granddaughter, you understood. You chose to live in Silver Pines Park, and they called you foolish. When you helped families find affordable homes, they said you were naive. But you lived the values this company was founded upon." Gasps echoed through the room. Miranda's face had gone pale. "Therefore," Goldman declared, "I, Charles Prescott Sr., hereby transfer full ownership and control of Prescott Properties, valued at $190 million, 0 cents, to my granddaughter, Lily Prescott." Chaos erupted. Uncle Stephen jumped up, red-faced. "This is absurd. She lives in a trailer." "Mobile home," I corrected calmly, though my heart raced. Goldman raised a stack of documents. "The transfer is complete and binding. All assets and operations belong to Lily." "You'll ruin us," Miranda shrieked. I stood tall. No, I'll restore this company to blend profit and purpose. You know nothing, Stephen spat. Actually, I said, lifting my folder, Grandpa taught me everything. Their faces reflected dawning horror as the truth sank in. While they'd mocked my life in Silver Pines Park, I'd been preparing to run an empire. Mr. Goldman handed me another envelope. Your grandfather also left you this. Inside was a photograph of Grandpa, young and beaming, standing in front of his first property, a modest brick apartment building. On the back, he'd written, "Never forget where we came from. Luxury means nothing without humanity. Show them the way, Lily." I gazed around at my stunned relatives. Things are going to change at Prescott Properties. We'll still build beautiful places, but we'll also build communities. We'll earn profits, but never at the cost of people. This is business, not charity, Uncle Stephen growled. No, I replied steadily. This is both. That's what Grandpa understood and what you all forgot. I walked to Grandpa's desk, my desk now, and sat down. You mocked my $2,000 0-cents mobile home because you thought it made me small. But Grandpa knew it made me bigger. More connected, more compassionate, more human. Miranda was crying, mascara streaking down her face. Aunt Valerie sank onto a settee, shaking her head. Uncle Stephen stood frozen, his world collapsing. You're all still family, I said gently. You can stay part of this company, if you're ready to honor its true purpose. But things will be different now. I drew out my first executive order, prepared with Goldman's help. Starting today, Prescott Properties will dedicate 30% of new developments to affordable housing. We'll create mixed-income neighborhoods, where everyone belongs. You'll ruin us, Uncle Stephen whispered. No, I said softly, thinking of Grandpa. I'll save us, both financially and morally. As my relatives drifted out in silence and disbelief, Mr. Howard appeared with a cup of tea, in the same chipped mug I'd used as a teen. Your grandfather would be proud, he said. I touched Grandpa's photo, looking towards Silver Pines Park. Let them sneer at my mobile home, I whispered. Some measure success by houses, others by their impact. If you're as curious as my family is terrified about what happens next, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss how I turn Prescott Properties and my life into something the world has never seen. This can't be real, my sister Miranda stammered, her earlier laughter gone. Oh, but it is, I said, calm and steady, watching Mr. Goldman verify the property deeds. 47 properties across 3 states, he announced. Total value about $45 million, all transferred to Lily Prescott 6 months before Mr. Charles Prescott Sr. passed away. But you're just a community worker, Aunt Valerie blurted, clutching her pearls so tightly they pressed into her skin. Charles would never. Wouldn't he? I asked softly, pulling out Grandpa's letter. Maybe you should hear it from him. Mr. Goldman cleared his throat and began reading. My dearest Lily, while the others saw your career as beneath them, I saw someone who knew what truly matters. You chose to help people build lives, not just bank accounts. You valued community, not only profit. These properties aren't just buildings, they're chances to create something meaningful. Each one holds promise beyond money. I trust you'll see that potential as you do in every person you help. The others will be angry. They'll say you don't deserve this, but you're the only one who never asked for anything. That's exactly why you deserve everything. Love, Grandpa. Miranda slumped in her chair, her designer suit now looking more like a costume. Aunt Valerie had turned pale, remembering every time she'd mocked my modest life. The transfer is entirely legal, Mr. Goldman confirmed. Miss Lily has complete control, effective immediately. But what about the estate sale? Miranda whispered. The mansion is already in my name, I said. So's the downtown office you want, the beach house you love, and the ski lodge you brag about. Mr. Howard stepped forward. Miss Lily, shall we discuss your vision for the properties? You mean my work helping communities thrive? I asked, lifting my tablet. Let me show you what I can do with $45 million in real estate. The plan silenced them. The mansion would become a center for arts and affordable housing for teachers. The beach property would host summer camps for underprivileged kids. The downtown buildings would combine shops with community art spaces. This is business suicide, Miranda scoffed, though her voice wavered. Actually, Mr. Goldman said, glancing at the documents, these plans might raise property values through community involvement. Many developers are moving this way. Aunt Valerie stood abruptly. Your grandfather would never want his empire turned into charity. No, I countered, pulling out an old folder. This is Grandpa's business plan from 1960. Before you all turned Prescott Properties into a luxury empire, his dream was about building communities, not just structures. I'm returning it to its roots. The meeting continued for hours as lawyers checked every paper. By the end, one fact remained clear. The woman they'd mocked for living in a mobile home now controlled one of Colorado's biggest private real estate portfolios. As people began to leave, Miranda paused near the door. I never understood why Grandpa spent so much time at your events, she murmured. It wasn't about events, I told her. It was about finding value where others don't. Maybe something you'll learn one day. Left alone in the conference room, I caught my reflection in the window. Same thrift store blazer. Same sturdy shoes. But now I held the power to show that profit and purpose could exist together. My phone buzzed with a message from neighbors. Miss Lily, when are you coming back? We miss you. I smiled, thinking of the Arts Center plans. Soon, I typed. And wait until you see what we'll create. Grandpa hadn't just left me deeds. He'd given me a chance to prove that true worth isn't just about money. It's measured in lives changed and communities built. The $20 bid they mocked was now a $45 million lesson in humility. And it was only the beginning. 3 months later, I stood in the transformed mansion. Chandeliers gone, student art brightened the walls. Miss Lily, called Tommy from the staircase. The Community Arts Council is here for their tour. I smiled. Wonderful. I turned to find Miranda standing there, looking out of place in her elegant Dior suit. The good kind of unexpected, or the family reputation is ruined kind, I teased, remembering how certain she'd been that my ideas would fail. She glanced around at the bright halls, students chatting, and colorful art. The numbers don't lie, she admitted. Property values here are up 15% since you opened the Arts Center. Local businesses are thriving. Even the luxury condos next door are selling faster because of the cultural vibe. Amazing what happens when you invest in community, right? I said. That's why I'm here, she said, shifting her weight. I've been thinking about the beach property project. Ah, yes, I replied. The summer arts camp that scandalized the family. We turned the private beach house into a place where kids who rarely see the ocean can explore art and nature. The program's already full for next summer, I added, anticipating her protest. I want to help, Miranda said. I've been watching you, Lily. Really watching. It's not just charity, it's smart business. With purpose. And I want to learn. I studied her face and saw something new. Humility, maybe even hope. The ski lodge project begins next month, I said slowly. We're transforming it into an artist retreat with affordable spots for new artists. I could use someone with business skills. Her face brightened. Really? You'd let me help? Trust is earned, I said gently, but everyone deserves a chance to grow. At that moment, Aunt Valerie burst in, waving a newspaper. Have you seen this headline? She cried. Prescott Arts Initiative turns luxury into community hubs. Our family name's linked to change instead of just money. Terrible, isn't it? I teased. She faltered, staring at seniors painting in what was once her formal garden. Local artists sold work in the old garage. The property values, she began weakly. Way up, Miranda interrupted. Lily's plan works. Grandpa would be proud. Mr. Goldman entered, holding a folder. Our reports show 20% higher portfolio value and thriving communities. I handed Aunt Valerie a brochure. We're turning that downtown office building you loved into mixed-use space. Art studios, small business hubs, and yes, some luxury offices. Want to be part of it? Me, she blinked. You used to teach piano before marrying into the family, I reminded her. We're adding a music education wing. For the first time in years, her careful composure slipped. I did love teaching. Later that night, locking the art center, I found a package on my desk. Inside was a photo of Grandpa in front of his first property, surrounded by families. A note in Aunt Valerie's handwriting lay beside it. I found this in Charles's study. He always said real estate wasn't just about buildings. It was about giving people spaces to build dreams. I forgot that. Maybe you can help me remember. I pinned the photo beside my deeds, a reminder that the greatest assets aren't always the highest priced. My phone buzzed with updates. Miranda drafted plans for the artist retreat. Valerie organized a concert. Even relatives who'd once mocked me were coming around. Looking out across the grounds that once screamed exclusivity, I saw possibility, creativity, community. The $45 million portfolio wasn't just earning money, it was creating meaning. Tommy appeared at my door. Miss Lily? Could we start a student-run gallery? We've been learning business planning. Come in, I said, smiling. Let's build something new. This was Grandpa's true legacy, not just buildings, but the power to change lives. The family who'd mocked my $20 bid was learning real value isn't measured in price tags. It's in visions brought to life. A year later, I stood at the podium at the Prescott Arts Community Foundation opening. The mansion buzzed as artists showcased work, and the Wall Street Journal reported, "Art teacher's vision turns luxury into community." The article praised how our model raised property values while creating sustainable communities. "Remember when they laughed at your $20 bid?" Miranda said, joining me on stage. She'd become an invaluable partner, using her business skills to help grow our vision. "Hard to believe it's only been a year," I replied, watching Aunt Valerie lead piano students through their first concert in our new music hall. Today's announcement was huge. We were pledging $10 million annually to arts education and community projects. Even better, other developers were beginning to follow our model. "Your grandfather left this for today," Mr. Goldman said, handing me a sealed envelope. My hands trembled as I opened it. "My dearest Lily, if you're reading this, you've proven what I believed. True vision looks past dollar signs. They laughed at your $20 bid because they couldn't see what we saw, that every space holds power to transform lives. You've turned my buildings into canvases for change. You've shown prosperity and purpose can exist together. That luxury can have heart, and community is the best investment. Teach them, as you've taught your students. Keep painting possibility, sculpting success, composing symphonies of change. You're not just my heir. You're my masterpiece. Love, Grandpa." I looked out at the crowd, feeling Grandpa's dream growing bigger. The family who doubted me now stood beside me. Miranda managed sustainability projects. Valerie ran music programs. Younger cousins joined community work. Marcus nudged me forward. "A year ago, this mansion stood for exclusivity," I said. "Now it represents possibility. Real estate builds more than walls. It builds dreams." Numbers flashed behind me. 1,000 students reached, 300 jobs created, 75 businesses supported, property values up 25%. "Today, we're not just launching a foundation," I said. "We're launching a movement." The applause thundered. But what moved me most was my students leading the ovation. They'd learned value isn't only in dollars, but in lives transformed. Later, in my modest office, my phone buzzed. A major developer wanted to partner with us. Below was a message from Tommy. "Thank you for showing us anything's possible." I touched Grandpa's photo, smiling. He'd given me more than a $45 million portfolio. He'd given me the chance to prove masterpieces aren't only painted on canvas. They're built in communities. Let them laugh at my $20 bid. We're building something priceless. If my story inspired you, share your thoughts with me below. Tell me how you'd build bridges in your own community. Let's prove together that business and purpose can coexist. Your ideas, your support, they matter. Join me in creating spaces where every person, like every property, holds untapped potential.